Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Art Conspiracy. If I'm looking a little sweaty, it's because it is wicked hot here today, and I can't use the fan because I'm doing collage. So I think I don't know, it's 86 degrees outside, so it's probably in the 90s in this place, but it's worth it. I'm doing my thing. Okay, so let's get to it. We're going to talk about collage, which I'm really excited to share with you. So let me share the screen real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. I hope this is the right one. Yeah. Okay. So where we left off, I think I showed you this. This was one of my subjects last time. Was this little laundromat? Just to refresh your memory. And here is the watercolor at the beginning of the watercolor, and my strategy is to start with watercolor as my base and then start to collage. So here's it, and here's my first layer. Already looking way interesting, yeah? And I'm going to talk about my process more during the week as I go along, but really having a good time. And then here is where it is right now. So let me talk to you a little bit about this. Why use collage? Why not just, do it with painting? Because the truth is, I can't. First of all, I can't do all of this with paint. I'd have to imitate what a torn edge would look like, or something, which I suppose is possible. But why would I want to do that? Anyway, collage kind of activates a lot of things artistically and creatively that I never realized and didn't expect. This process is really, really cool. I have a list here of some things. One of the things that collage does is it forces you to simplify. And especially somebody like me, I don't like to do little tiny small things. So if you're collaging, if you're cutting, tearing, or you're creating little pieces of paper to glue onto your art, if they start getting too small, that's not good. So it forces me to think big, in big chunks, in big shapes. And that's really good. It also, let me go down here for a second. I want to talk about different kind of edges, which is really important. So let me go here. Okay. So first of all, I have all these wonderful textures that I've collaged in advance. And I basically have 3 different kinds of edges that I can have in my work. I can cut out a very crisp, blocky shape like that. Another thing I like to do, and it might be a subtle difference, but it's a difference in my mind, is to tear or to pull. I call it pull. And this is slightly softer. Now, it's kind of hard to see the difference, but there really is a difference, especially if there's a lighter edge, okay? So anyway, and then you can also use a tool like this to cut an internal shape, which is really great. And then the last one, of course, is to rip. And if I rip from this side, I get that light edge. I'll put it against the dark, which is really beautiful. And of course, if I tear from this side, I get a rough edge, but it's a solid. Do you see the difference? I mean, there's all kinds of really interesting possibilities. And then once I get the shape and I tack it down, or I think about where it's going, I can paint on top of this also. And what I really like to do too is sometimes I'm working and I'll like cut out a shape, and I'm going to use this one. And then I think, oh, well, now I have this. Is there some place for this one? Like it just sort of folds in on itself and just start to explore all these wonderful possibilities. Look at this, gorgeous. Anyway, so that's about using collage. The other thing that collage really pushes is the idea of contrast, of edges, of softness next to crispness, of dark next to light, of one color next to another color. So it really pushes contrast. And contrast, I think, is probably one of the most important elements of art, to make your work read in a way that's super visible. And also working with this kind of beginning pushes you to have interesting texture. And when I'm making these samples, I have courage that I don't have when I'm working on an image, if that makes sense. The image is like, it sort of takes over and, oh, it's got to look like the person or the building. Like when I'm making these samples, it's completely abstract. And I feel a certain sense of freedom. And it's wonderful. And I hope that I can eventually take that freedom into the work that is, a specific image as well. So, I mean, that's what I'm doing here is it is an image, but it's also all this beautiful texture and surface building up. So that's my goal. And I'm going to show you the next project that I'm going to work on. Okay. So I think I saw that you saw this too in another video, that this was a picture I took at the market, which I loved. And so I played with different compositions and I ended up kind of coming in a little bit. And this was my initial composition thumbnail, just to bring it in and have a little bit less, and anyway, and then I toyed with the idea of doing both of the windows. And you see, everything gets really small. So unless I have a really, really big piece of paper, all my collage pieces are going to be teeny tiny, like I talked about in the beginning. And no, I'm not doing that. In fact, I went from this and I got even up, even closer. And this is what I'm going to do. Maybe there's a little bit more light, a little bit more action over here in the window, but not the second figure. And I might do another one bigger. And again, this is what I can do with collage. I can do just this doorway in one watercolor on one piece of paper and just this big window on another piece of paper. Wait till I get home and glue them both on a larger piece of paper, and so it's like there's all kinds of really incredible possibilities that come up with collage. So, that's what's going on in a very hot studio. So I want to show you, you're not going to be able to see because it's so light, but this is that composition with the figure in the doorway that I'm going to work on. And I'm going to start with the painted base, which you'll see next time, but I'm going to try to get some of this same glorious texture right off the get-go in my painting process, okay? Knowing that I can collage on top, so nothing is the finished product. But in anticipation of that figure, she's got like a red apron and there's some orangey glow and so it's predominantly cools and neutrals with hits of yellow and red. And so I made this in anticipation, just creating textures and, this is for me to collage with. Isn't that lovely? I hate to cut it up. It's so nice, but anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll paint this, and then I will show you in the next video how far I got and what I ended up doing, collaging with this and my other samples. Okay, so I think that gives you kind of an update on what I'm doing, and yeah. I'm going to go in the other room where there's a fan and just like stand there for a while. Okay. Greetings from our conspiracy. I will see you next time. Okay. See you later. Bye.